WWE plans a major match for Money in the Bank. Goldberg teases a location for his retirement match. And more changes happening in TNA. All this and much more right here on the WrestleHavoc News. What's up, everybody? It is yours truly, Flamin' Ricky DeRays, right here on today's edition of the WrestleHavoc News. We got a lot of things to talk about on this edition of the show. Before we get into all this craziness, please make sure to like and subscribe to the WrestleHavoc channel right here on YouTube, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and as the friggin' referee would say, ring that damn bell for more notifications. And without any further ado, let's get straight into the news. In our first story, we're going to be talking about WWE, and they're planning a major match at Money in the Bank. Of course, Money in the Bank is going to be taking place in Los Angeles, California at the Intuit Dome on Saturday, June 7th, and WWE is planning a major match for Money in the Bank. According to WrestleVotes was told that, quote unquote, WWE has plans for Travis Scott to appear at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view on June 7th. This has apparently been, quote unquote, in the works since before WrestleMania 41. WrestleVotes also indicates that there was a pitch at one point for Travis Scott to compete at Money in the Bank in a 6-man tag team match alongside John Cena and Logan Paul against the Usos and Cody Rhodes. I know a lot of people on social media are expressing their frustration as to why this match is potentially happening at Money in the Bank, but you got to understand, WWE is, of course, a publicly traded company. They really want all eyeballs on WWE. In my opinion, on paper, it sounds like a terrible match simply because of the fact that, again, a lot of people are just not liking the fact that Travis Scott is involved with the whole John Cena thing. I get it. It's not really as good, but at the same time, WWE has been planning, apparently, for Travis Scott to get in the ring for a while, and WWE loves their celebrity involvement. That's just the nature of the beast. They love their celebrity involvement. We've seen it with Bad Bunny. Of course, we've seen it with Logan Paul. It looks like a match that I'm not really as interested in, but it's going to get a lot of eyeballs, and that is what WWE wants. It definitely reminds me of Hulk Hogan and Dennis Rodman versus DDP and Karl Malone. I mean, that's what this reminds me of. Of course, it's going to be like a modernized version of that. It's going to happen at Money in the Bank. And in my opinion, I'm not as interested in it. I really don't want that match to happen. But knowing WWE, they're definitely going to book a match like this, and it's going to take place at the Intuit Dome, and realistically, that's what they do. It's a big match. It's a tag team match. We still do not know when Cody Rhodes is coming back. Of course, we haven't seen Cody Rhodes since he dropped the WWE title to John Cena at WrestleMania 41. A lot of people are saying he could be returning tonight at Saturday night's main event. We're going to have to wait and see what happens, but from what it looks like, this tag team match at Money in the Bank is going to be in the works. In our next story, we're going to be talking about Goldberg. Of course, Goldberg has been teasing a potential retirement match, and according to mysanantonio.com, Goldberg approves creative plans and he teases a location for a potential retirement match. In the article, it states, and I quote, "The former WWE champion and Hall of Famer says that he's spent the last 4 months preparing for the end of his career, and it hasn't been easy. The 58-year-old still won't say when the match will take place, but he's been approved for some creative control of the rollout plans for the date's announcement, and even dropped a major hint about where the final fight will take place." In a quote by Goldberg, he stated, and I quote, "It's going to be in the South," he said, with a knowing look. "This gives me the opportunity to put a stamp on my career in front of the people that I care the most about." Most likely he's talking about Atlanta, considering Atlanta is his hometown. The only hint about the date is that it will be before the end of 2025. But before he gets into the ring, he'll have to go head-to-head with his inner critic and overcome doubts about his age. In another quote by Goldberg, he stated, and I quote, "I'm an extremely violent person," he said, "and if I get in the ring and let my body do the things that I used to be able to do, I'm going to rip my shoulder out." The Muay Thai training isn't a part of his physical preparation. It's necessary for his mental health, which he admits he's struggling as he gets closer to the match. Overall thoughts on Goldberg preparing for his retirement match. I don't know what to think of it. I mean, you guys all know my thoughts on Goldberg, especially when he had his last few matches back during the Vince McMahon era. Of course, those last few years of Vince McMahon, he would always bring out Goldberg for those Saudi Arabia shows, and a lot of people criticized Goldberg considering he was just taking a payday. But at the same time, you can't deny Goldberg is a popular act amongst wrestling fans. Goldberg is one of the biggest stars that were out there back in the late 90s. Of course, he basically exploded into popularity out of nowhere back in WCW in 98. But again, what are my thoughts on Goldberg preparing for his last match? From what it looks like, WWE is possibly going to host Goldberg's last match. In my opinion, I'm not as interested in it, but if Goldberg wants to go out on his own terms, he has the right to do that, and everybody's going to be looking forward to it. I'm not as excited about it because I'm not really the biggest Goldberg fan, but at the same time, you can't really deny Goldberg has accomplished a lot in his career, and Goldberg wants to go out on his own terms. We don't know the date of when Goldberg's last match is going to be taking place. All he said was it's going to be taking place before the end of 2025. In our final story, we're going to be talking about TNA. There's more bans within TNA wrestling. Of course, TNA has banned the usage of blood, and they're only going to use it when it matters. According to Fightful, more changes are on the way to TNA television. Recently, TNA requested that their talent scale back on the utilization of blood in their matches after the company felt like talent went a bit overboard. In our interview shortly after with Steve Macklin, he stated that he believed that the company was doing it so it would mean more whenever they brought it back. Now, Fightful Select has heard other changes. Fightful has gotten word that the Talent Relations Department passed down a memo that stated that slaps will no longer be allowed unless approved by an agent. In addition, it was noted that throat slashing wasn't allowed at all and would come with a $100 fine each time it's done. Fightful has been told that a meeting was held Saturday to discuss the moves and to express unhappiness that the memos leaked, of which said meeting's details also leaked. There were other talent meeting related happenings there as well. Overall thoughts on this. Number one, slaps not being allowed is a little questionable because in wrestling there are slaps involved, but the idea of throat slashing to me is a little ludicrous because you've seen wrestlers like Undertaker do the throat slash all the time. To me, it's just a gesture.
It's just a gesture.
The whole idea of throat slashing to me is kind of dumb because it's just like a gesture that a heel would do. And you know, the fact that you're going to fine them $100 for that is just ridiculous. Slaps no longer being allowed unless it was approved by an agent to me is kind of dumb as well. I understand the idea of blood not being used. That is a reasonable ban, but small bans like slaps and throat slashing to me are kind of questionable. I think it's kind of dumb in my opinion. But I mean, it's TNA. What do you expect? They want to do that for their talent. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not as big. Like the idea of slaps and throat slashing is not as big of a deal as like, you know, blood. Because in my opinion, if you use blood more often in a match, it doesn't become special anymore. If you use blood every once in a while, it's more meaningful. I always say this about AEW. I feel like AEW utilizes blood a little bit too much in their matches. The idea of throat slashing, I mean, you see guys like Undertaker do it all the time because it was a gesture, it was a meaning. And I feel like it adds to the overall story that you are trying to tell in the ring. It is what it is. I mean, TNA has some motive and I can't change what they want to do. At the end of the day, I feel like they're looking out for the talent. And I think that's what's most important, and you can't really fault TNA for that. Even though you may think it's questionable at best, again, they want to look after the talent, and you cannot blame TNA for looking after the talent. But yeah, that was today's edition of the WrestleHavoc News. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, push that bell for notifications. I mean, look out for more videos right here on the WrestleHavoc channel, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and as the freaking referee would say, ring that damn bell for more notifications. And as always, it is yours truly, Flamin' Ricky DeRays, signing out. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace.